Be still and know that I am God. I'll be exalted among the heathen. I'll be exalted among the earth. This Bible verse is powerful. You need to master the art of being still. You've probably watched a lot of videos or you sit there maybe on YouTube and listen to a lot of topics in regards to this as well. But I just want to share one thing, especially from my experience. A lot of the time, I found myself obviously watching these sort of videos, right? And I'm not even understanding the principle. Sometimes they might even explain it, but it's not really penetrating in here. It's not really going in deep inside my heart, deep inside my soul. The art of being still is the art of knowing that whatever challenge, whatever battle life throws at your face, you look at the challenge as a little peanut. You smile because you already know how the outcome will be. And the outcome is, it's gonna work for your greater good. The outcome is, it's not gonna penetrate negativity and evil and anxiety and all these negative things in your mind. It is not gonna penetrate that because of the art of being still. So that's just literally the basic explanation of being still. Now, in regards to my experience, like I said, I've listened to a lot of sermons, a lot of podcasts, and a lot of the time I figure out these preachers or these, guys on the internet, for example, are saying, okay, you need to master, as another word for it, it's called stoicism, and you need to master stoicism. And I sit there and I'm like, you need to master stoicism. But how? How is it the case where, for example, something bad happens to you and, you've probably had a similar situation in the past and that led to a traumatic experience and it happens again, and obviously your brain has been rewired to always act in fight or flight mode. If someone is telling you be still, you wouldn't understand that message simply because you've not addressed the deep root cause of that in the first place. You've not addressed the deep root cause of why you might have been feeling negative emotions when someone is telling you be still. You get what I mean? Like, you need to understand this concept that you are three in one. You're three embodiment in one. Right? You've probably familiar with this, but let me get into it because you probably don't have a clue at all. Right? So you got a body, you got a soul, and you got a mind. A lot of people call the mind the spirit. Simply because the mind is a pathway to the mental world. They call it the third dimension or the highest dimension. The physical plane where we are right now, which obviously where your body needs to be operating, is the last part of the cycle. And your soul is in another dimension. So you got your soul, your mind, and your body. Your soul is that still small voice. That still small voice that's telling you what is right from wrong. Your soul is that God-given blessing that you need to navigate through this world. Deep down, you know a lot of things about life that is buried in your subconscious. But as you got older, there's a part of your brain, so you got the reptilian part of your brain, and you got an irrational part of your brain that has been formed due to your environment, due to your upbringing. So obviously ego is formed, and ego is never right, or I beg your pardon, it's never always right. Ego is self. It operates on the physical plane, which is obviously here. Now, let me get straight to what I was going to tell you. The reason why I had to explain that was because you need to address your mind. You need to rewire your mind. Before you can really understand this principle of being still, you know that. You know deep down. Like, you have to readdress this issue because, Kai, a lot of us don't even know. We're just living in regret. We're living in shame. We're living in so many negative emotions that all it just takes is knowledge. All it just takes is understanding the deep root cause of this problem. Unfortunately for a lot of us, like, for example, I had anxiety for a very long period of time when I was younger. Due to my upbringing, when you have overly strict parents, that bullying, that physical abuse, and it was really like mental. Like, there were days where I would literally have to cry my pillow to, cry deep down in my pillow, sleep, built up anxiety because all the time you couldn't stand up for yourself. You couldn't really express your emotions, and then you have to be a yes man to a lot of people, and then people walk over you like a twat. It was dark. I faked confidence for a very long period of time, for years. I acted like, oh, things are not, things are okay, da 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 da. But deep down, I was not really myself. I was not myself for a very long period of time. I'll be honest with you. I was very lost, a very lost child. A lot of fantasized thinking that was not ideal. And how I came into this, how I overcame this, was to break down myself, was to create a new identity. If you're religious, you probably remember the story of Jesus Christ, and I believe it was a short man named Zacchaeus. If I'm wrong, please comment down below. He said, Jesus told him, if you want to see the kingdom of God, you need to be born again. Now, this is not a religious lesson here. The Bible should not be taken literally, but should be taken with deep understanding, with deep knowledge. Be born again. Be born again. Be born again. The guy, Zacchaeus, was like, oh, does that mean I have to go back to my mother's womb to be born again? And obviously Jesus was like, doesn't work that way. What does it mean to be born again? It's to create a new identity. The Bible is the biggest metaphysical book out there. Obviously, a lot of people think it's skewed, but the Bible, Islamic books as well, I've not even dived into Islam as much, but I'm confident with the Bible. I'm not saying I'm the best Christian out there, by the way, nah, don't get it twisted, you get it. You need to create a new identity. You need to stop It's like you have to stop yourself. You have to see yourself as a brand new whole person. How do you start doing this? Create a new avatar in your mind. Every morning, every night, close your eyes and imagine that new you. What does that person think like? How does that person talk like? What sort of mindset does that person have? What do people say about that person? You know, what is your character like? What is your new character like? Journal everything. Imagine, visualize. It's a very important tool. It's not all this manifesting voodoo nonsense. Visualize. That's what people say, quote unquote, manifesting. Visualize. Your mind is so powerful. And write it down. Journal. If it has to take you months, do this. I fully will assure you, if you do this every single day for the next 60 days at least, your life will be amazing. You will make a big amount of progress. Trust me. It's all here. It's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. The mind is so powerful. It's amazing to see how, like, that's why we are, at the end of the day, we are at the top of the food chain. That's why we are the ones creating. We are actually creators. Once you create this new identity, you start understanding a lot of principles a lot more. If you're anxious, for example, battling with anxiety, you'd literally, because you see yourself, your new self, as someone who is courageous, someone who knows that life is full of ups and downs, you don't need to worry, because you know eventually everything will work out for your good. That's literally it. There's no two-way about it. There's no two-way about it at all. It's amazing, isn't it? All you need to do is create a new identity and take action every single day. Take action. Take action. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your life. You're too you're too precious to be wasting your life, my dear friend. Be still. Someone has been insulting your whole life. Someone's been saying, oh, you're not able to get to this certain position in life. And then you're there, you're like, raw. Everyone has been hating on me. Everyone has been like, oh, I can't make it in life, da 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 da. You've reaffirmed all these things that people have said about you, and unfortunately, that's what has molded into your current self. Lacking belief, lacking the right mindset, lacking the right attitude, always confused, always anxious, always, thinking about evil thoughts. It is hard. A lot of the things we don't even know that is our problem is so buried in our subconscious. And all it takes is for you to actually, it's like breaking yourself apart, breaking your brain apart, your mind apart. And take tiny steps in order for you to break through, in order for you to become this brand new identity that you imagine yourself to become. That's literally it. It will take time. I'm not saying this is a quick process. But if you're very intentional about this, the amount of action you've got to take, you got to be convinced, and your desire has to be strong for you to make sure that you conquer. You have to be. These are the qualities of a person who is still. A person who is still has that strong desire. A person who is still knows that he or she requires discipline. A person who is still knows they have to be closer to the things regarding God. And when I say God, I mean the higher self. A lot of things in religion are skewed nowadays because people don't even understand the metaphysical side of things. I suggest you actually get some knowledge on metaphysics. I'll be sharing a lot of my knowledge here as well. I believe in you. A lot. I know what you're going through, trust me. Because I've been there too. But it took me years. It took me years, and I don't want it to take you too long. I don't want you to take too long. Time is too precious to waste. Way too precious. Be still today and discover your new identity. Take care of yourself. Mwah.